sound options.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Hola y bienvenido! We join you this Cinco de Mayo from the lone road course on the schedule for the BRP iRacing series on Pit Stop TV. Andrew Cardinale with Joe Donahue alongside, and Trey Shuttlesworth out around the racetrack, virtually grabbing photos for our social media. If you couldn't tell, I was waiting all day to use that line. I am so happy to be here this evening on Cinco de Mayo with the BRP iRacing series at the virtual Watkins Glen International, the road course for stock car racing for so many. So bringing the stock car's cousin, the Asphalt Modified, to the New York countryside feels like one heck of a treat, Joe. And not just a treat, but at least for me, this feels like a bit of a throwback to the old NASCAR games throughout my childhood, taking the modifieds on NASCAR 08, for example, onto road courses such as Watkins Glen. Just feels like such a throwback, such a nostalgic time for me. This is a fun one this evening as we bring you action from the iRacing.com sim on our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter platforms. Again, Joe Donahue, buddy, this is a fun one. I'm looking forward to this. The entire evening, I think, is set up for some absolutely fantastic racing.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I love the way the modifieds have driven on this track, and obviously I got to experience that fun time running the modifieds in NASCAR 08 here on this circuit, and that's a great memory for me and just nostalgic and a good trip. Watkins Glen, to me, very special place. I love coming here so much. It's a very important and special part of my racing heritage and history, and as being a racing fan. So even to be here in the first place is really great. Finals week ended, so cheers to that, everybody else out there celebrating. And it's just really nice to have all of this culminating into one great place with some great people here on the broadcast and out on the track too.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at our point standings before we go any further. Let's just set the stage for you this evening. If you have not joined us for the previous two races in the BRP iRacing Series Asphalt Modified Tour, well, you are missing out, because we had fantastic racing at Southern National a couple of weeks back to open up this series. I honestly didn't know what to expect, especially with a smaller card count, but they delivered. Dave Corsol won under the lights. Aaron Smith, Maxime Plant, they were the other front runners. Then fast forward to last week at Lanier Raceplex, we had a photo finish, 0.007. James Bond didn't win. It was Dave Corsol again in a 7/1000th of a second margin of victory. Aaron Smith coming up just short again in third, but he has amassed enough points so far to stay tied up for the lead. That's why we keep him up there in that first spot. He left Southern National with the points lead, kept it after Lanier, but Dave Corsol is coming. Travis Miller, Dylan McDonald, they're there as well. You see Jamie Porter even in the top 5. A lot of great stuff is going on for Jamie Porter. We'll see how that all goes. We've got Maxime Plant in the top 10. A lot of stuff. I hope Maxime is back tonight. I'm looking through the standings so far in practice. It looks like he is. I do see Jean-Philippe Bergeron as well. And Joe, I know this is your first race with the modifieds here with these guys, but Jean-Philippe Bergeron is bringing some game. He came out last week to Lanier, and he showed he wanted to win right out the gate.
Yeah, the BRP guys, obviously, they run their late model series as well, which we broadcast here, and I go with that series a lot. I broadcast there. I know a lot of these names, Travis Miller, Jamie Porter, Hunter Holberg, as great competitors over there, but there's some new other names over here, Aaron Smith, Dave Corsol, that I haven't seen over with the late models. I think there's a lot of respect to these drivers that they can compete with guys like Travis, like Jamie, who prove, at least on dirt, that they can race whatever they want and race wherever and be competitive and successful. And, that carries over here. I got to watch the ending of Lanier last week, and my jaw fell off my face to the floor. It was an incredible finish, and it's really great that these guys can bring together new names, other people, and they still all are competitive with each other. It's a great group of guys. They're all really good at this system. They know what they're doing, and I think Watkins Glen might be a little bit of a curveball, but maybe that'll play into some of those guys' favor.
Not just a curveball, but I'd say an 11 curveball. You see turn 1, it's that almost 90 degree, in fact, sharper than 90 degree right-hand corner. It's so famous in NASCAR for, I think, a lot of moments diving down the hill into that very sharp right hander, the curbing on your right. You want to kind of get it not too hard. Then you fire up. I almost said fire down, fire up into the S's here at Watkins Glen. Fantastic set of corners, 2, 3, 4, down the long back stretch, straight into the bus stop. That, I think, is going to be a very interesting set of corners for these modifieds. I was doing some testing last night and noticed how slidey these cars are. We're in for some fantastic racing, at least some fantastic moments and highlights from these drivers. They are going to have their hands full this evening. Of course, the carousel turn 9, that highly banked, well, carousel of a corner. It feels like you're dropping into a bowl once you leave the bus stop. You head up to turn 10, turn 11. A lot of people say this is a 7-turn course. No, it's 11 corners. It's how we learned it back in the early 2000s. It's how it's going to stay. Watkins Glen is an 11-turn course. You can't change my mind. So Watkins Glen International going to be a fun one this evening. I'm talking about some of the drivers having some troubles this evening. Well, let's go on board here with Dave Corsol, and let's just get, I guess, an idea of what it's going to feel like for these guys. It's going to be wild. You see Corsol, he's having to fight the car. It's dancing out to the outside of the S's. It's going to be amazing tonight. They've got a lot of mechanical grip, a lot of grip in the tires particularly, but that doesn't keep these cars from just moving all around. You see Maxime play it sideways out of the chicane. These guys are going to have their hands full this evening. I'm so looking forward to this. This is on the official iRacing Tour Modified Series, fixed and open this week. But man, this is a blast.
Yeah, these cars, obviously they're modifieds built to run on ovals, and while you can put a road course setup on them, there's a degree at which you can't obviously fix the way that they are. You can't just put the driver in the middle of the car. You can't, all that side weight that you normally have. But I think that's really going to play into the favor of the cars. And I mean, they raced real modifieds at Watkins Glen. It actually happened. So evidently it's something that can be done. And if you're going to put any group of people out there on the track to figure this out, BRP guys are a great group to deal with. They can run on dirt, they can run on asphalt, and they're going to prove tonight they can run on road courses too.
Yeah, this has happened before. This has been done in the late 90s. NASCAR did send modifieds to Watkins Glen International. It hasn't happened, I don't think, in my lifetime. Hopefully it does again soon. It's a fantastic combination. Out on the racetrack for qualifying is Dave Corsol, as is most of the field here. Let's take a look at our schedule, though, this season with the BRP Asphalt Modified Tour. April 21st, Southern National Motorsports Park in Lacoma, North Carolina. That is done and dusted. And, well, Dave Corsol won, much like at Lanier Raceplex in Brazelton, Georgia on April 28th. Now, April 5th, Cinco de Mayo, 23 laps at Watkins Glen International. Next week, we've got USA International Speedway in Lakeland, Florida for 40 laps. That 3/4 mile short track is going to be a whole lot of fun. Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park up in Thompson, Connecticut on May 19th. Then we, head back down into the south a little bit. Concord, North Carolina for Concord Speedway on June 2nd, 60 laps around that half mile. Oxford Plains Speedway in Oxford, Maine. That's going to be a personal favorite for me, I think, of the entire schedule. And that's hard to choose, given all of the fantastic racetracks. I mean, honestly, I think these are all racetracks that I personally really, really like, and almost, you know what, I will say it, really, really love on the iRacing.com sim. South Boston wraps it all up on June 16th. Should be a lot of fun through and through. 2 races in, 6 to go. This is the third of 8. And Dave Corsol is on, and, well, he's just started his first flying lap in qualifying. Where can the 54 go this evening? I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys do in qualifying, actually. I think this is going to play into who wins this race quite a lot.
Yeah, I certainly can see that, Andrew. I definitely think that, especially you go through the 90, you go through turn 1, you go up the hill. I think through turns 2, 3, 4, the S's, that's really important to get down on that first lap. So certainly starting up front is going to help you a lot. And if these guys want to start up front and be able to take advantage of the S's on that first lap, there's going to be a huge advantage for the rest of the race.
As these guys do start and get through their first flying lap, let's of course thank our partners here at the BRP iRacing series. And we thank these guys a lot, but you can never thank them enough. Bicknell Racing Products, of course, the namesake of the BRP iRacing series. Matt DeRitter Designs, putting out a lot of paint schemes on these BRP machines. Jam Performance, Costco Haulage, and Miller's Auto Detailing. Of course, you can see that on the 22 car this evening, as with most BRP iRacing series race days. Across the line momentarily for Dave Corsol. We'll see what kind of time he can put down. DeRitter goes fastest at first, 114, then a 112 for Bergeron, and Corso goes faster, a 112.713. And we'll see if anybody can one-up him. I do want to mention, I see one driver out here that I know is going to be quick this evening, Aaron Smith. He led practice. This is a regular over in the Nork iRacing Series on Tuesday nights, Joe. You covered that with us at Kentucky last week. Look at that. He goes fastest, a 112.554. Now, Nork was actually at a road course last night. They were at Road Atlanta in the NASCAR Xfinity Series cars, but he didn't quite get to show all of his strength. He ended up finishing just outside the top 3, finished 4th last night, and I think certainly was one of the drivers to beat, but just he never got into that rhythm that he needed to get into, and he never got clear of traffic either. Tonight, though, if he's able to put this car on pole, it's going to be a completely different ballgame.
Yeah, obviously, you shouldn't expect a whole lot more or less to deal with lap traffic out here tonight, but I think rhythm is something that you can kind of get a little off with on a road course. Obviously, road courses are longer, way more turns to deal with, and obviously lefts and rights, so your rhythm kind of, it's not the same deal as on an oval, where you kind of have to have your rhythm down quickly, and you have to have a quick rhythm that is consistent, but here on a road course, obviously, it's not as much about the consistent rhythm as it is about consistently hitting your marks and knowing where you need to go. And if you get a little off in one spot, I think on a road course from experience, it's way easier to deal with and to get back into the swing of things on a road course than on an oval. So if that's an issue in the past, is obviously showing it's not an issue tonight. He goes faster to the top than number 70.
And Aaron Smith is easily the road course specialist when Bobby Zelensky and some others aren't around in the Nork iRacing Series. But coming over to here, we don't know how he's going to stack up initially against these guys. I mean, these are mostly dirt drivers. In fact, Maxime Plant, Travis Miller, Hunter Holberg, Matt DeRitter, Tanner Correa, and Dean Meitzler, they're all coming over from the dirt side of things with the BRP iRacing Series. So getting to see how they all match up against one another in a completely different atmosphere is really, really special, seeing how these dirt drivers stack up, especially against Aaron Smith, for example, a road course ace, an oval ace. He's got quite the I rating, so I'm still looking forward to seeing how this season develops, and it's been fantastic thus far. Dave Corso, you can see he's currently in 2nd place this evening. Jean-Philippe Bergeron, he's in 3rd. Maxime Plant, 4th. Travis Miller currently finishing up the top 5, and actually that's big for Maxime Plant. He was much further down in that list a little bit ago, but has skyrocketed up to the 4th spot. We're watching Dylan McDonald. He's one of 2 cars currently on the racetrack. Looks like Tanner Correa not currently out there, but it's Dylan McDonald, Dean Meitzler on the racing surface. We'll see where McDonald can go after this lap through, and out of turn 11 and across the line. It's a 114.9 for the driver of the 38. That's good for 8th of 8 qualified so far. So a little bit off pace, but I really think as long as he just keeps his foot in it this evening, as long as he keeps the car on the racetrack, he'll do all right.
Yeah, certainly. You got a long race ahead of you. I mean, 23 laps here. These guys are used to driving long distances, but on a road course, it's just a completely different story. We got Dean Meitzler here going through the 90, and then he will be going up the hill to the S's on your screen, trying to put in a lap time for the 49 machine. But I'm excited. I mean, I think you have to be in the car the whole night either way, get your points, perform, and just be out there, get experience. And I think that's something, obviously, we've talked about that before on some other broadcasts, Andrew. That's something we appreciate and respect a lot out of these drivers. But I think if you keep your mindset in the right place, you keep your foot in it, keep yourself out on the racetrack over the course of the race, it definitely is going to benefit you in the race itself. So definitely want to keep out on the track, not only for my own sake, but as a driver, but just for the sake of doing it and getting more points out of the race and move forward in the championship.
We're on board here with Dean Meitzler. While we watch him work around the speedway one more time, let's thank some of our partners here at Pit Stop TV. We mentioned the partners of the BRP iRacing Series, but the guys who make it happen for us, well, that's Tucson Sound Art. And at Tucson Sound Art, sorry, my brain totally blanked there for a moment, but you can use promo code PitStopTV to get 10% off at checkout. That's special to me. To be able to, have Pit Stop TV, the promo code anywhere, is really, really cool. It's been the case for a few months now. Mother's Day is literally this weekend. Time is still left. You have not run out of time just yet to get your mom a fantastic gift. This could be it. It's a wall-mounted sound art device. What that means is it's a beautiful canvas put around a Bluetooth speaker. It has a fantastic charge quality. It charges up, and that charge lasts for days on end. It lasts for such a long time. I use mine frequently, and I mean, it lasts. It properly does. Batteries will work as well. It's easy to put up as well. So your mom, doesn't matter how old she might be, that sounds kind of mean, but it doesn't matter even if she can't quite get up to the highest of highs on the wall. It is super easy to put up, just a couple of screws, a little bracket, and boom, it's on there. It looks fantastic, sounds great too. By all means, check out Tucson Sound Art this week if you still need to get your mom a gift. Race pace setups. If you want to pick up pace, specifically in GT3 cars on iRacing, even Porsche Cup cars, whatever it may be, because they also offer more than just setups, but driver development, driver coaching sessions. That's so important when you get onto iRacing, because something these drivers are going to have to learn this evening actually on a road course is keeping your eyes up the road. That's so difficult to do when you're an oval driver. Honestly, you start to look at the edge of your hood. No, you want to keep looking as far up the road as you possibly can, and Tyler Campbell at Race Pace can help drill that into your head for you. So go to Race Pace Setups to pick up pace today. Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, they're a fantastic partner of Pit Stop TV. We've had them on board for quite a while. Summer months are coming, and as more venues open up, as you're able to do more, as we hopefully start to get back to normal, by all means, you want to look your best. Go to permanentmakeupandmaine.com to find out what they can do for you. The official graphic and camera provider of Pit Stop TV, Whiplash Media specializes in sim racing content, specifically here on the iRacing.com sim. Check them out at whiplash-media.com. And of course, BAM Racing Videos, another fantastic partner of Pit Stop TV by a race fan for the racing community. Qualifying starting to wrap up here this evening, Joe. 9 cars have turned a time. Looks like Tanner Correa might not, but we're into the last 30 seconds of the session. Everybody's off the racetrack, and we've got the field we've got. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, certainly looking forward to it. Like we've already mentioned, this is major backflash to NASCAR 08 and all the old games we used to play where they used to do the modifieds on the road course as part of the season you could run when you tried to go pro in those games way back when we were kids. So very cool to see. I'm royally excited. I'm grateful to be here. I'm just relaxed, feel good, and it's just going to be a nice time. Watkins Glen's a beautiful place in the real world, and it just brings back great memories. So looking forward to it 1,000%.
Qualifying wrapping up. Let's wait on that to transition over, and we will go through our starting grid in the third race of 8 in the BRP iRacing Series Asphalt Modified Tour. Starting on pole this evening, already talked about him quite a good bit. It is none other than Aaron Smith, the second Aaron Smith Jr., not sure which, but Aaron Smith in the number 70 car, famous for his bright yellow paint schemes. He'll start on pole this evening. Dave Corsell, 2-time winner so far in the series, in the season, will start at his outside in second. Starting third this evening, Jean-Philippe Bergeron, part of that fantastic photo finish at Lanier 1 week ago. He'll start third. We'll see what he can do with those front runners. Maxime Plant, he will start from the 4th spot. Missed last week, but he's still in a great spot in the points. Starting 5th, it's Travis Miller in the 22, Hunter Holberg to his outside. A couple of teammates there from Beef Esports in row 3. Row 4 will give us Matt DeRitter on the inside, Dylan McDonald outside in the 38 car. And starting back row of this 10 car field, Dean Meitzler and Tanner Correa. So again, a bit of a small field this evening, but Joe, we've seen fantastic racing the last couple of weeks, despite only having 10, 11, 12 cars.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to have 28, 29 cars out on a track to have a good race. I think you can put together a really great race as long as the guys out on track are working well together and running well together. So even you may have 10 drivers, you could have 10 drivers racing for the lead. And that seems pretty exciting to me. Certainly going to be a good show. I think we have a lot of questions about what's going to happen when these guys get the green flag and run these 23 laps tonight. But certainly they know what they're doing, or at least they should feel that they know what they're doing enough to get through this race, and we'll hopefully be able to see a good show. I'm watching the entrance to the bus stop on the first lap. I think that's going to be really exciting. Definitely watching the 90. Turn number 1 is going to be very interesting, and it's going to set the tone for the night. But overall, you know, we got a road course. We got a bunch of modifieds. We got a couple dudes here on the broadcast. We got all you guys watching. We appreciate it, and it's going to be a good time, but I think I'm going to watch the bus stop more than maybe other parts of the track to see what the tone really is going to be for tonight's race.
You mentioned those watching this evening. Oh, and we've just had a problem. Oh, no. Maxime Plant. Was that Maxime Plant? Was that somebody else? That is Tanner Correa smoking already. Oh, my gosh. I didn't think I'd have to take a replay before the start of this race. We've had a big, big problem here. This is under pacing in the bus stop. Now, Joe, we're talking about the bus stop being a trouble spot, but not quite like this. We kind of missed it there. We'll go back and get another view. You know, I'm not sure what's just happened on our pace lap, but we'll get a nice look at it right here. Dean Meitzler, Tana Correa, we've got a problem. Meitzler spins. Oh, no.
Wow, Dean Meitzler got off into the outside grass of the bus stop and unfortunately just slid right in front of Correa and nothing he could do. That's really tough to start the race off like that. And I mentioned setting the tone in the bus stop, but I didn't mean that quickly.
So Tana Correa will dive down the pit lane as we get this show on the road. Cinco de Mayo, Asphalt Modifieds at Watkins Glen. Sounds fun. Let's do it down to turn 1. Into the base of the S's for the first time, Aaron Smith leads the way, and he will lead us up the hill as we climb through the gears. Well, all 1 and 2 of them. Aaron Smith first out of the chicanes, out of the S's, and he's got a massive lead already over Jean-Philippe Bergeron. I'm not sure how much the draft will mean this evening. We'll see it, well, start to take form.
Yeah, I think the draft's going to be very important for the bus stop. There's a very important braking zone into that area, and it's definitely a passing opportunity for these guys. Bergeron probably just going to try to feel out this car right now, see how it runs behind another car, right behind Aaron Smith right here, down into turns 10 and 11, but could maybe make a dive or at least maybe test the waters about how this race is going to go tonight.
Tana Correa is back on the racetrack. Jean-Philippe Bergeron, he is there. We've got a race up front, ladies and gentlemen. Into the final corner of lap number 1. Aaron Smith still going to lead on the way out, but it is close for first and second. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Want to thank everybody doing so. By all means, share with your friends. Give them some racing action to watch this Cinco de Mayo. And Aaron Smith still leading the way in lap number 2 now as wow. Jean-Philippe Bergeron hangs it out. Travis Miller as well in the background. Not too many battles just yet popping up, although Matt DeRitter is pretty close to Dylan McDonald. We could see these two go at it as DeRitter caught the curbing on the inside.
Yeah, DeRitter kind of got hooked right there in turn number 2, and it got him a little wacky going up into turn 3. I've always thought turn 3 is a really difficult part of this racetrack, and you wouldn't think it because it's flat out and up the hill, but it's a blind corner, and the apex just, at least for me, it always gets me out. But the bus stop, pretty solid right there. Everybody getting through there pretty well. I think Bergeron's right now a little loose in the second position. I mean, everybody's loose. You can see Maxime Plant hanging it out in the carousel right there, but certainly you want to try to preserve those tires a little bit because it's just going to get worse and worse over the course of the run, and they might last for a while, but certainly any rubber you can keep on them is going to help.
Certainly agree with that. Oh, Jean-Philippe Bergeron in the grass, the save! How about that? And keeps the position, stays second place, but Corso is going to try and change that. Drag race down the front stretch. An amazing catch there from Jean-Philippe. I don't know how he kept that car from spinning around and then from collecting the tire barrier. He will give up second place, but now maybe a crossover out of turn 1. That's exactly what we'll see. He'll take that second spot back and still nose the tail end of the S's.
That was a textbook 90 crossover right there from Bergeron. And, I mean, credit to him. You might have lost that one spot from that little bobble, but recovering it that quickly, that was very impressive from Bergeron. Obviously, Corso's going to try to get a run down the back here and into the bus stop, see if he can do anything with this car. But absolutely great save out of turn number 10 right there. I thought he had lost it, and he got off into the grass. And I don't even know how he saved it in the grass because, obviously, you don't have any grip out there. So props to the number 18. I mean, that's just a really great way to keep yourself confident for the rest of this race.
Of course, trailing Jean-Philippe Bergeron. He's starting to lose a little bit of time. Now, I noticed something that Corso did in the bus stop that time through, as it looks like Dylan McDonald a little bit off pace. He's going to lose a couple of spots. Lets the 03 of DeRitter and the 99 of Holberg go on by as they race down to turn number 10. But something I noticed that Corso did that time through is he downshifted in the bus stop. Now, if you don't know, these modifieds only have 2 gears. I know a lot of dirt track cars, of course, they only have the 1 gear. They just have go. But these modifieds, they have basically a restart gear and a drive gear. You can downshift in this lap, but I don't think it's actually going to benefit you too much to do so. Tana Correa, though, problems. He is back in the pit lane.
That's a tough break for Korea. I mean, obviously that start of the race was not what we wanted to see for the number 7 at all. And Tanner back down on the pit lane here, going to be a lap down very early in this race, which is going to be very tough to overcome for that team. So definitely not what we wanted to see, but at least showed up and got a couple points from it.
We're on board here with Correa, and he's going to come up on Dean Meitzler. I noticed this while we were queuing up the replay. Everything's good there. I think he's got a problem of his own when they come up to the bus stop this time through. So the first time, his problem in the bus stop was not his doing. We'll see if it is his doing this time through. This, I believe, was lap number 3 for the driver of the 7. Yeah, just overran the exit and nosed it into the wall after catching some grass. And right behind, you see Dean Meitzler go for a spin as well.
Yeah, Dean Meitzler got that car caught out, but that actually might have been a saving grace for Dean Meitzler right there, because you saw Korea kind of came back out onto the racetrack, and I was kind of expecting Dean to come in and T-bone him there based off of what was about to happen, but I guess maybe fortunately for Dean, he got a little loose and spun out before he even got to the number 7 machine.
Now we've had a problem here for Hunter Holberg. A lot of road course racing this week, and this has kind of been the theme of taking a lot of replays and recapping a lot of events, and Holberg just going to loop it out of turn 11. So easy to do if you just get back to the throttle a little too hard, a little too early.
Yeah, definitely, and that corner catches a lot of people out. I think the way that the corner comes out into the runoff area and the grass catches you pretty quickly, and the little bit of banking you get on the inside as well, it definitely makes you feel like you can go very fast, and then everybody wants to get on the throttle really hard to go down the front straightaway, but obviously catches some guys out, and unfortunately for Hunter Holberg, he got caught out a little bit, but he 360'd really nice. I'd give him probably a 9 out of 10 on that 360. That was a pretty solid one, and obviously keeps it going pretty strong, so not too big of a deal, but gave us a little bit of a nice little show on the front stretch.
The battle will continue for second and third positions on the racetrack. Bergeron with a mirror full of Dave Corso, but this is going to change pretty drastically. They've got the lap car of Dean Meitzler now on the inside, and this is a question I raised actually in the Nork race last night, was how would the Asphalt drivers, as you see Meitzler, that was kind of sketch. He actually was on the inside and lets him go by on the inside. That was interesting, but I wonder how these drivers will cope with the different etiquettes in road racing, and how that will clash a little bit. You see Meitzler, I think, was trying to do the right thing. Unfortunately, at Apex, I think he might have held these guys up just a skosh, but everything is fine. They get on by with no problem.
Yeah, I mean, Meitzler's not trying to get in anybody's way here. He's already kind of out of the game for running up at the top end of this group. But obviously, as much as you can say, when you go through that 90, you got all that runoff. Holy cow, they're sideways through the carousel right here. You go through the 90, you got a lot of runoff over there. So a lot of people, at least from what I've seen, they like to use that runoff over on the outside of the 90 to let the faster cars through. So that's something that these guys might not know as well, because they aren't used to Watkins Glen. They're not used to going out here, and they don't know the track by heart like some other people, like some other sweaties on the racetrack like myself, that kind of can think they know their way around this place maybe a little better than they actually do. But obviously got out of the way pretty nicely, and I mean, we still got a really great battle. They're going to take it into the 90 this time, and Corso might be able to make this pass complete. Right now, Bergeron is outside. It got close, and a little bit of that runoff really helped the number 18. Bergeron stays in front in second place right now.
Joe, I never thought I would hear sweaty is used in a broadcast, but it works, I suppose. As you see, man, they are just slinging these cars around this evening. As you mentioned, these modifieds are designed to turn left, and they do it pretty well. The interesting thing with the left weight bias, and of course, I do believe the rights might even... Jean-Philippe Bergeron overruns the exit of the bus stop, and that was close. He was almost in a lot of trouble. He might still be. And these are right-handers where they're having this trouble. I wonder, and you can see a little bit of maybe a difference in tire width. I'm not entirely certain, but it feels like the right sides are maybe wider side by side into turn 10. I wonder, I do believe I know that is why these cars get so wonky. And right-handers, Jean-Philippe Bergeron, the drift in 11. He gives up a second spot, but saves the race car, keeps it on the racetrack.
I think a lot of times people use the term handful to describe a car that's not really handling to the way they like. I think this car might be a double handful right now for Bergeron. I think this might be kind of hold that wheel with both hands and and hope for the best, because it seems like right now he's all over the place, just trying to get the thing to have grip underneath him. And you mentioned it with the tires, we mentioned it with the weight bias, and you see it right here with Coursol and Bergeron going through the S's. These cars aren't really settling very nicely through these corners like you might expect out of an open wheel car or a prototype, but obviously par for the course, these modifieds aren't built to race here, and the guys are holding on to them pretty well. I think one thing that's really important to note about the way Bergeron's handling this car right now, as much as he's sliding and getting a little wonky, getting the car underneath him again, and then getting the throttle down, he's not losing time to Coursol. I mean, he's right there. We still got a battle for second going on, and I think that shows really where the rest of the field is at, that everybody's struggling right now, and it's not really hurting anybody's runs, as you see with Bergeron trying to go down the inside of Coursol again into the 10.
That was scary there from Dave Coursol. He threw a block that moved back over into the racing line, and Bergeron made it work. He got to the inside for 10, but on the outside for 11, and maybe some contact out of the final corner. Drag race of the line. Coursol gets that lap between these two, but that's what you've got to be wary of if you're a passing driver. How do you set yourself up, and do you take the inside? No, Jean-Philippe! He goes around, Coursol keeps rolling, and finally, we've found the Achilles heel for Jean-Philippe Bergeron. Finally goes around.
Yeah, I mean, these cars are getting loose underneath the guys, and it's only due time if you keep sliding like that before, you get caught out. We saw Hunter Holberg get caught out earlier on in turn 11, and we just saw Jean-Philippe get it in turn number 1. Tough break for the number 18. You saw him get the power down hard out of turn number 11, and I thought he was going to get a good run. He did kind of get a little bit of a squeeze from the grass coming back on the outside of these guys. They come down the front stretch into the 90, a little bit of a downhill into the corner. The turn's got some banking. He tried the over-under and just got a little ahead of himself, and the car went around and unfortunately went backwards, but he got the thing figured out and stays at least in the race in the top 5, and hopefully he can get moving forward from there.
What I want all of you watching to listen to right now is the motor. I'll stay quiet for a moment. And you hear it rev going into the corner. He downshifted into turn 1, and again, I don't know how much use or how useful that will even be to these guys. If you overcook the entry, you can maybe use it to help you engine brake, but to be honest, with how short Gear 1 is, I really think you're better off just keeping it in second and saving, well, the wheel spin that we just saw from Jean-Philippe Bergeron. He was in first gear when he buzzed the rear tires and went for a spin, and I think that's a big contributing factor in this case.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, when you downshift too quickly, you over-rev that engine, and then what is going on is obviously you can't get the tires to spin quick enough to keep up with the engine, so the rear tires start slowing you down. They get more gripped up and then start sliding, and you go around, and that's what happened there. And it happens in plenty of racing forms. Not really something that you want to do. Definitely hurts the car. And while we're in iRacing here, it's not mechanically going to hurt his wallet, but maybe hurt his ability to get through that corner and obviously send him sideways. So something to learn from, and certainly something I don't think Bergeron's going to want to keep trying to do or playing with maybe as much.
Well, he didn't wheel hop or he didn't shift down too early. It was more so just the fact that he had higher revs when he got back to the throttle because he was in that lower gear. And I think just being in first gear right there, he already upset the car a little bit, and then he entered higher up and then tried to cut down. That also probably contributed to just throwing the car into a slide. A lot of things there went wrong for the driver of the 18. It's unfortunate now he's dropped down to 5th spot, but he's not out of this. He's only a couple of seconds behind Travis Miller and another couple of seconds behind Maxime Plant by proxy, because Travis Miller is rather close to the 79 car, and Coursol is up ahead of these guys. So anything can still happen with these drivers, 2nd through 6th, I'd say. Even Dylan McDonald, who's 10 seconds or so back of this, and Holberg is another 4 seconds back. These guys, anything can still happen. This whole group can still get mixed up. All it's going to take is tire management, and certainly these guys that are a little bit closer, a little bit more packed up in 8 seconds or so, 4 of them in that group. I think if one driver saves their tires better than the other 3, they will shine.
Yeah, I certainly think so. That's one thing I kind of noticed myself about Jean-Philippe with the number 18 car, is it seemed like the tires were just they were just all over the place. Obviously, you slide, you wear out the tires, and you spin, you wear out the tires. So I kind of was anticipating maybe the tire fall off would be more significant for the 18 car over the course of the race. back when he was up running in second place and fighting for second with Porcel. And obviously that's something that could, over the course of the second half of this race, which we've somehow already reached, that's pretty neat that we've already got that far into it, but we're into the second half, so that's certainly going to be important. And like you said, Andrew, these guys are all close enough to each other that I definitely think they're within pouncing area if they can keep their tires underneath them up to the ending of this race and be able to get the power down a little bit better than the guys in front of them.
Dave Coursol starting to walk away from Maxime Plant just a little bit. He's opened up a slightly larger gap, but we've got to talk about Aaron Smith just leading the way right now. It's incredible what he's able to do in that number 70, and you see he's pitching the car sideways in turn 11 as well, but certainly a lot more control than he's able to be as well. Just keeping that car very paced, very under control. I'll say it again. He's just being very calm, very patient behind the wheel. And let's talk about the weather right quick before we go any further. Since we're talking about tire wear and tire conservation, you do see a very warm track temp. And why is that? Well, because you look up at the sky and we don't have many clouds in the air. You see a few puffy ones out and about, but nothing really breaking up just complete baking of the asphalt here in New York. I mean, the sun is beating down here. It's only 79 degrees in the air, but it is roasting this racetrack. It's complete direct sunlight. I do believe it's about high noon in the day. I mean, we are roasting Watkins Glen International currently.
Yeah, that's definitely going to wear on the tires. Obviously, the temperature is a pretty big factor with any tire, any race you go to and deal with. So certainly these guys going left and right, and they're using up the tires a lot because these cars are kind of loose underneath them. So the track temp definitely isn't helping that, and in fact, it's playing a factor in how loose these cars are right now. So it's just something you got to manage, and if you want to be successful here, especially with the BRP guys and at a road course, that's something you have to be able to manage as a driver.
10 laps to go now for our race leader, Aaron Smith, and I mean, he is, without a doubt, walking away. He's got some 15 seconds back to Dave Coursol, but this is what I expected personally. We should get power rankings going. I know we were talking about that earlier, Joe. We should get like fantasy leagues or something going about this, because I really do believe he would have had to be on everybody's fantasy team, because I knew he was going to come out here and he was going to show down. If you don't know Aaron Smith, this guy is bread and butter. His hobby of iRacing, basically, his niche is taking stock cars, taking oval cars, basically taking any car that isn't meant to go road racing and going road racing. He loves to take K&N cars, for example, to Bathurst. He loves to take stock cars. I'm sure to Le Mans, probably. He just likes taking race cars on road courses, specifically ones that are designed to turn left. He's doing a great job of it this evening. He's led every single lap so far. He's going to come around and lead lap 14, and I'd imagine he'll lead the 9 coming up after it.
Yeah, that's something I think that just plays into the story of this race. I mean, obviously, if Aaron Smith is used to driving a car that's meant to turn left around road courses, then he's certainly going to know what he's doing right now. That's actually a really great idea, and I'm going to use that later. I'm going to go try out the K&N at Bathurst. That sounds really fun, and it's one of the few cars in the game that you can hook up if you have an H pattern to actually play with your H pattern shifter. So I think you just told me there what I'm doing for the rest of my evening after the broadcast, Andrew.
You know what I'll be doing after this? These here. I like I said, I tested. Oh, and we've got one around. Who is that? That's Matt DeRitter turned around in the bus stop, actually. Matt DeRitter with problems. We're inside at about 9 laps to go, and we have problems for the driver of the 03. See if we can cue this up for you. And, oh, he's already way offline in turn 4, the third of the 3 S's, and I think he's just having fun at this point. I mean, he is swerving. That's pretty obvious that he's just having fun, gets the grass, and goes for a spin. You know, to each their own. If he wants to have fun with it, of course, he's not impacting anybody else's race. You can see he waits on Aaron Smith here, and you can see the yellow blaze of glory come on through. But, I mean, I do like taking races a bit more seriously, but there again, Matt DeRitter is a fantastic guy, paints a lot of these race cars. He's having fun, and you know what? If that's what it takes for him to enjoy it, then that's what it takes, and I'm glad that he's enjoying his time.
Yeah, I mean, right now, you know, you're kind of just doing the best you can. That was a nice little power slide out of turn number 1 right there. And at this point, you know, I mean, now that you're a lap down here, you just have fun with it. You know, get the car sideways. You like to drift it a little bit. Have fun. I mean, what more are you gonna want out of your evening? You know, we work hard. We do what we got to do, and then we come out and get on our game with our friends and have a good time. So go for it, Matt. And who knows? Maybe even something else, some other factor played into that happening, and something kind of affected him right there. But you got a race right here where two guys definitely have their wits on them right now and have no choice. Travis Miller catching up to the back of Bergeron. We might have a battle for fourth place shaping up here as we get into the closing stages of this race. They're not too far behind Plant as well, so this could shape up into something pretty exciting as we get closer to the finish.
Well, and this pass has just been made, Joe. If you recall, Jean-Philippe Bergeron, he was much further behind the 22 car. So he has caught right up to the back end of Travis Miller, obviously has gone by at this point, and is now working to catch up to Maxime Plant. So Jean-Philippe still has some left in the tank, and it's happened rather recently. I would go back and take a replay, but I feel this could get interesting, and I don't want to miss it.
Yeah, they're close right now, and I think Bergeron has proven he's fast, and I was wondering about those tire degradation, but that definitely is obviously not playing as big of a factor for him to at least get around Travis Miller and catch back up to Maxime Plant right here. Maybe be able to scrape a top 3 back out of this race. Maxime Plant's not too far up the road. We got a couple laps left, and as you can see, I mean, they're still sliding all over the place, but I think he's holding onto these tires at least a little better than I previously had expected.
I mean, he is throwing the car around here, but I think at this point, that's just what you've got to do. You've got to almost drive it like a dirt modified in every single corner. Just be okay with getting it sideways. You'll drive it off into the bus stop chicane. There is a downshift there if you couldn't quite hear it on the broadcast. So he does dip down into first gear. I think that's the one corner where you can kind of justify it no matter how fast you enter it. Just using that gear to engine brake a little bit, but you got to be careful not to over rev. And he uses it nicely to his advantage, but he lost a little bit of time. And I wonder then if Maxime is doing it a bit differently. I wonder if maybe he's keeping it in second gear to get a more consistent drive off and not roast those tires. So you see Matt Dirter now behind Dave Corsall. That could change things up for these three as well.
Yeah, that could definitely shape things up a little bit, having DeRitter in the mix as well, but Maxime Plant's got a little bit of time to deal with before he has to worry about that car, and maybe he'll be able to catch up and give a show to second place. Maxime Plant, one of those drivers who is absolutely unbeatable in the late model series these guys do. The gentleman comes out and performs great every weekend. Actually, one of the 3 that hold on to all of the podium finishes so far this season, those late models over there, but obviously trying to show that he can put this modified on a podium as well. He's got plenty of pressure from Bergeron already down the back straightaway. The 18 has caught quickly up to the 79 as they go into the bus stop here. Not quite to the point where they're going to have to worry about lap traffic ahead of them, but Travis Miller trying to scrape it back together with getting up to these guys. Maxime Plant, oh no, he goes around.
Oh, Jean-Philippe, Travis Miller! Travis gets through, and he's going to pass Jean-Philippe Bergeron, who gets a piece of the spinning 79. We'll take a look back at this one for sure. We saw it live, but we've got to watch this one again.
Yeah, absolutely. Maxime Plant just came out of the bus stop into the carousel, and things just kind of got out from underneath him. We're seeing him go up the back straightaway, so he's still holding on in front of Bergeron. You see Travis Miller a bit further back. That definitely helped the 22 get through that corner without any mistakes or incidents right there. Out of the bus stop they come. Nice exit, actually, by Maxime Plant, and then just gets in there a little bit hot. And Bergeron tries to go around the outside of a car spinning in front of him, and unfortunately, Maxime was there. A little bit of contact on the front. Maybe not too much for Bergeron, but it did slow him up, and it let Travis Miller take 2 for 1 in the carousel that time, get up into third spot.
I want to watch how close this was for Jean-Philippe Bergeron once Maxime Plant was around, because they very nearly had an incident after the fact, and quite honestly, from the initial view we had, I thought Travis Miller was going to fly into that 18 car as he came back down the racetrack. Thankfully, there was no further contact, but I just want to watch this from the, watching the 18 car. You see the 79 spin, a little bit of contact, nothing heavy, but oh man, that didn't look quite as close maybe as it would have felt from the driver's seat, but I can tell you at 90, 100 miles an hour, whatever it is, through the carousel, that feels very close, and it certainly was.
Oh, yeah, and I'm sure Travis Miller had a code brown right there as well. I mean, he tries to slide through the inside. He got around Plant, no problem, and then all of a sudden Bergeron's coming back onto the racetrack, and I mean, he just had to lick the stamp and send it. That's all he really could do at that point in time. If he slowed down, he was just going to increase the probability of getting hit. So props to Travis for getting the throttle down and staying out in front and avoiding that collision, but he's got plenty of pressure now as we get closer to the finish of this race. Bergeron's still on the charge, trying to get back into the podium, and Travis Miller is right within his sights, and Travis, oh man, they both got into it there.
And unfortunately, Travis Miller is turned around, and I don't think he's going to get back righted very quickly. That is DeRitter going by. Now Maxime Plant will go by the wounded 22 car. Let's go back and watch and see what happens this time.
I think, I wonder if it's the tire wear. I wonder if there's a little bit of pressure now that we're getting to the end of the race. I wonder if it's just Bergeron intimidating these guys maybe, but Travis Miller comes out of the 90. He goes into turn number 2, which is the first of the turns into S's. Car was a little sideways, but nothing more out of the ordinary. He was a little bit slower than Bergeron, and then he just clipped the inside of turn number 3 and sent the car sideways. He locked it down, tried to keep control of it. Bergeron, obviously nowhere to go, hit him a little bit, some slight contact with the wall, some slight contact with the 18. The 18 also got a bit of the wall himself. And fortunate for Travis, he got that car turned back around enough to get it back out on the racetrack and keep going forward.
Another view of it there, you can see, well, Jean-Philippe Bergeron definitely got a good piece of that Armco barrier. It shouldn't hold him back too much, given the circumstances. He's got quite a gap now to Maxime Plant after Maxime's troubles, but Travis Miller now sorts out into the 5th spot, not too far behind Maxime Plant. You see the 79 car up ahead, so as the laps wind down, those two could still have something come to fruition. Who knows? Into the last 2 laps as Aaron Smith will slowly round turn number 11. Obstacle 6 will be in view, and we'll have just 2 laps to go, just about 5 miles left for these drivers.
Yeah, more or less a practice session here for Aaron Smith, running pretty much alone since we got more towards after the first quarter of this race. He's put a big gap in between himself and second place, and they've been battling behind him, which has certainly helped, but Aaron Smith he's got it down and he knows what he's doing with this car, and it's been very impressive to see him take such a lead, and obviously a well-deserved race for Aaron that he could come out and be successful, and this is definitely going to help him in the championship. I think that's something that is probably very important to him, is to have a good race that'll progress him forward in the championship, which he's already doing very well in, mind you, but having a win under your belt, which he hasn't yet done, definitely going to help and progress him forward over the rest of the field and hopefully get that championship.
And he comes in tied for the championship lead with Dave Corsall, who's behind him. He got pole. He's out of the fastest lap in the race by quite a decent margin. In fact, it's to the tune of 1.1 seconds. He has had this field covered this evening. This will be a big win in the bank for Aaron Smith. We'll see how it goes in the rest of the short tracks the rest of the way through, but I almost knew this was a complete lock for this driver unless something really bad happened. White flag now in the air for Aaron Smith. This could be what he needs to just put him that little bit ahead of everybody else, and as some of these wins maybe change hands, as things trend different ways, who knows? Maybe this is the difference maker in this short 8-race season for Aaron Smith. Only time will tell.
Certainly true, and you got to think about those bonus points. I mean, those are certainly going to be what's keeping Aaron Smith in the championship up to this point, but I mean, he took them all. He took all the laps, he took the fastest lap, he took pole, and as long as he can get through the end of this lap, well, he can get the race win as well. So he's going to max out the amount of points he can get here, and I think that's something that's really important, especially as we go around. Dean Meitzler sideways in the carousel. If you can put that kind of a race together, it's definitely going to help with how close everybody's been racing up to this point.
That was Matt DeRitter that was turned around. Thankfully, Aaron Smith was heads up and got by that. Local yellows in force, of course, as with all road courses on iRacing. Through the final 2 corners at the Watkins Glen International, and Aaron Smith will leave turn 11 and Watkins Glen, New York, a BRP iRacing Series winner, getting it done in the Asphalt mods at Watkins Glen. Had the field absolutely covered. 20-some seconds back to second, but this battle now has sparked up problems for Jean-Philippe. He's backed himself right up to Maxime Plant, and this is not over for third.
They come out of the carousel. They'll go down to the run to turn number 10. Maxime Plant, a little bit of a draft, actually very fast
draft
coming into this corner.
A lot of a draft.
Run. Look at Maxime Plant. He got on the brakes a little quick right there. Could have maybe dove in a little quicker.
Oh, Jean-Philippe! holds on to it, and Maxime Plant is going to, whoa, maybe not, up the inside. Here comes the 18 of Jean-Philippe Bergeron, a drag race down to the stripe, and across the line, it's Maxime Plant. Oh my goodness.
I was wondering if Maxime was going to get the power and get the run out of that corner, and Bergeron just couldn't hold on quite as well because of that. Maxime Plant to the line, absolutely a drag race, and what a way to finish out the podium.
Fantastic stuff from those guys. Even when Aaron Smith checked out by 3/4 of a minute, it was still fantastic racing for third place. That's what I love about this field. That's what I love about the BRP iRacing series. Even when the leader walks out by such a wide margin, you never truly know what is going to happen. That, my friends, is competition. Burning it down, though, in Watkins, Glen, New York, is Aaron Smith as he covers the field, takes them to school, and gives them a whole new chapter in road racing. He wins the first BRP iRacing series ever on a road course, wins at Watkins Glen, and we'll be talking to him post-race. Don't go anywhere. Interviews just ahead.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home by combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Welcome back to the Watkins Glen International. 2.45 miles of fantastic pavement in the countryside of New York. Amazing stuff up here in the rolling hills. I love this racetrack. So many people do, and for good reason. It is the American road course, I feel like. So many racetracks are fantastic like it. I would put Road America, Road Atlanta on that list as well as so many others. Certainly Virginia International Raceway. But I think Watkins Glen is the one that everybody knows. I don't know what it is about Watkins Glen, but it is the American road course that everybody knows. It has that fantastic elevation change, the sweeping corners that follow with the terrain. Just something about Watkins Glen is special, and it was special this evening for sure, bringing the BRP iRacing series onto road for the first time ever, and with the Asphalt modifieds for added benefit. Aaron Smith wins this one, 27 seconds back to second place. He had the field covered, and Aaron, I'll be honest, this is the performance I expected last night at Road Atlanta as well as tonight. You end up just finding your rhythm, leading all 23 laps. How'd you do it?
Well, I really like this car on road courses. The limited experience I've had with them, it's been a blast. So fortunately, we were able to make it even more fun tonight and bring home the win.
So you are, of course, if people don't know you, you are a road course connoisseur specifically with cars designed to turn left. What about it? It just feels right to you. Why do you like taking stock cars, especially the road courses, so much?
Well, they just don't like turning right, so it's a lot harder to wrestle them around, and that's what makes them real fun. You can have some of the best racing on the surface with them, and that's what I love.
Well, even behind you, as you left everybody in the dust, there was fantastic racing to be had, but next week, we head to USA International. I raised the question of possibly this being where you gain your separation to start putting points on the rest of the pack to maybe hang on for a championship. We've seen you've been fast, if not one of, maybe even the fastest the last couple of weeks at Southern National and Lanier, but you haven't gotten those race wins. What do you have to change? And do you see yourself possibly still contending in 5 more races for that championship?
Well, absolutely. I learned a lot tonight with the visual boundaries of the car, figuring out where all the quarters are and just figuring out where the things are hitting the wall and stuff like that. So should be able to do well for the rest of the season. I'm certainly optimistic about the future.
I think there's plenty of reason to be optimistic as well. Before we let you go this evening, Aaron, who do you have to thank, who do you have to shout out for this big win at Watkins Glen?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the folks at Satellite Racing Team for their support, as well as Virtual Racing School, Direct Force Pro, Ellis Engineering, and Design Creative. I don't have them on the car yet. Said I was going to put them on there 2 weeks ago. I still haven't gotten around to it yet. Should be ready next week. But I'd also like to thank the folks at BRP for putting this show on, and y'all for broadcasting. Looking forward to next week.
Buddy, I think you're going to have to cross over to more series that we cover. Fantastic stuff from you this evening. Congratulations on the win. We'll see you next week at USA.
Thank you.
Aaron Smith gets it done this evening in dominating fashion. Love talking to that guy as well. A fantastic driver, fantastic guy in every sense of the word. Dave Corsol gets the job done, though, for second place, and he hangs on, I think, right where we expected him to be, or right where maybe the best that he could have been given Aaron's speed. This is big for Dave to keep himself in that championship fight. We'll hand things over to Joe Donahue, who is with Dave Corsol.
Yeah, so we've got Dave right here. Dave, this is Joe Donahue with Pit Stop TV. You got me? All right, Dave, well, these cars seem like they were a bit of a handful tonight, but you definitely had the grips on it and you kept it together pretty well.
Yeah, and Aaron is not untouchable tonight. It's really different when I drive on the oval or something, but I like the experience, but I can't wait to back on the oval.
Well, certainly can respect that, but you put together a really good race here, even to be on the road course. You had a good run with Jean-Pierre Bergeron earlier on in the race. When you talk about, you had a little fight out on track, and talk about how that race went for you and how you felt going side by side and racing so hard with some other guys out here.
Yeah, it's really fun. I like that on the road course and fight. Sometimes you have the inside, sometimes you have the outside, and it's pretty good. It's a really good fight. I love to race it. You know, Jean-Philippe is a good race. He's a great racer, and I love to race with him. It's keep it clean, but it's drive like a rookie this night and hit the wall sometimes.
Certainly, everybody kind of getting their grips on the modified here at the Glen, and nobody's perfect, but you, my sir, are doing pretty close to perfect. You're up at the top end of the championship hunt, still in sight of taking that crown. How do you get set up? Maybe how does this race set you up, and how do you set yourself up as you go forward with the next set of back to oval races, obviously, but how do you set yourself up to keep competing up at the top end and try to get this championship?
I try to first of all finish my race and try to finish in top 3 every race. I think it's the better thing to win a championship. I like to win every race, but you can't do that. No, I think finishing top 3 every race is gonna be a good thing. I think.
Certainly, the consistency is going to help you propel your number 54 up to the top side. And hey, you got second. That's still a really good performance, and especially bringing out a bunch of modifieds to Watkins Glen, certainly something to be proud of tonight. So before you go ahead and celebrate that on your own post-race here, we want to give you center stage and give you the mic. Anything you want to say, anybody that you got to thank here for your performance tonight?
Yeah, thank you to Autoplast, CarQuest, and Dark Horse. The sponsor is help me in the real life and in the sim racing. But thanks a lot to CarQuest and Autoplast.
Awesome stuff, Dave. Well, congratulations again on behalf of our team here. Second place, a very good performance, and we look to be talking to you again soon.
Yeah, thank you.
So there you have Dave Corsel, driver of the 54, coming home P2, styling and riding. And we're going to send it back to Andrew for another guy who did a pretty styling job of getting to the finish of this race. The gentleman. I'll hand it to you, Andrew.
And Maxime, you certainly had an exciting night a couple of nights ago at Lima Land. It was exciting again this evening. What was it like from your point of view at Watkins Glen?
Yeah, that's a really cool race for me because I never tried the Williams modifier on the road course, so that was really fun.
And of course, we know you as a dirt racer. Do you have any prior experience, be it real life or on the sim on road courses?
On the sim racing, a little bit, but in the real life, I was a driver when I was young, karting drivers. After that, I go on the late model on pavement, but I'm a real dirt car driver right now. So.
And actually, then that's a fantastic point that you bring up about being a kid and going karting. Is there anything that you could take from that experience as a kid and apply to this race this evening, or was it all just kind of starting from ground zero?
Yeah, I'm not really sure if I understand your question, but I know what is your question?
Yeah, is there any experience that you could have taken from your time karting that you could apply to these cars this evening, or was it just completely different?
Yeah, karting I think is a really good class to begin for the race. After that, you can do what you want. So if you want to go on dirt car, you can go on the Sportsman or something like that. But if you want to stay on the road course, you can go on the small formula. But we have a 500 in Quebec. It's like a mini formula. I don't know what is in English, but it's you can do what you want when you start in the karting.
Well, buddy, as always, we appreciate your time so much. Congratulations on third place. Tell us who helps you out, who makes it happen for you in your real racing ventures, and where can we find you on social media as well?
Yeah, so thanks a lot for you guys and for the broadcast and the live for the race tonight, and thanks a lot to the friends and family watching this, and thanks a lot, and we see you next week.
All right, Maxime, best of luck to you next week as well in the late models and in these modifieds at USA. We'll see you then. Congratulations on third place, and best of luck next time out.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Maxime Plant, a podium once again. He's gotten a podium every single race that he's run this year. And oh, I didn't even see this contact at first in this battle. I mean, this was fantastic stuff between these two. It came down to the last few feet. I actually want to watch this battle out as we go through our results. Joe, we'll take you through this, well, I was going to say the top 10, but the 10 results this evening. Aaron Smith gets it done atop the scoring pylon by 28 seconds. Dave Coursol second, then Maxime Plant third, of course. Jean-Philippe Bergeron in this battle right here finishes fourth, and just a little ways back was Travis Miller in fifth.
Yeah, and then after Travis Miller, so we rod into the second half. We got Dylan McDonald in car number 58 bringing it home in sixth place. Hunter Holberg got home seventh. Pretty far back, you can see the gap from Aaron Smith to Hunter Holberg there to the seventh place car. That was the last car on the lead lap. Matt DeRitter finished P8, 2 laps behind, and then you got Dean Meitzler and Tanner Correa. Tough breaks for those guys. Didn't really get the grips on their cars in the beginning of the race, and unfortunate circumstances led to them finishing 9th and 10th respectively. But nonetheless, you know, still got all these guys out and had a really solid race with these 10 drivers, put together a pretty good show, and something I think a lot of people expected as a curveball for their seasons. Definitely turned out the right way for Aaron Smith.
And I'm glad guys like Tanner Correa and Dean Meitzler still got onto the racetrack and started this race and got going, given the circumstances there at the start. Certainly rough circumstances for them, but man, it was all smooth sailing for this guy, Aaron Smith. Fantastic stuff from him. We'll go through quickly some of our partners here at Pit Stop TV, but we'll first lead off with, of course, the partners here at the BRP iRacing Series. Of course, the namesake of the BRP iRacing Series is Bicknell Racing Products. I mean, just the support that goes into this series is growing, I think, by the day. The fact that we've been able to see these guys grow into a 2-series league is fantastic. And certainly with Bicknell Racing Products, Matt Ritter Designs, Jam Performance, Costco Haulage, and Miller's Auto Detailing behind them, I think the sky is the limit. I think we'll see a whole lot more come from this league here with Corby Daniels, Hunter Holberg, and the rest of Beef Esports and everybody else at the BRP iRacing Series. I think the sky truly is the limit. Of course, supporting our broadcast here at Pit Stop TV are our own partners in Tucson Sound Art, your picture, your music. Make sure to use promo code PitStopTV at checkout for 10% off of your order today. These broadcasts also brought to you by Race Pace Setups. Pick up pace with Race Pace. And by Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, where you deserve the best care that money can buy. By Whiplash Media, the official graphic and camera provider of Pit Stop TV. And finally, by BAM Racing Videos, by a race fan for the racing community. Final thoughts then, Joe, as we wrap up from Watkins Glen.
Well, I really enjoyed the show. I think these guys had their hands full, but I think that played out to some really cool racing, and I'm sure everybody had fun. I love Watkins Glen, a very special place to me, and times I get to spend there with my friends, with my father, and just part of my experience as a racing fan. It's very important and very special. I thought the race was really great. This was obviously we mentioned this earlier, my first time with the BRP guys on the asphalt. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think these modifieds race really well on sim, and I'm looking forward to see what the rest of these guys can do. Obviously, Dave Coursel's got a little bit of more of an uphill battle to Aaron Smith coming out of this race than he had coming in, having been tied with him, but I think they are still really good racing up at the top end of the charts, and I think over the course of the next couple races, it's going to be just as exciting as it was tonight.
So that will do it then for us from the Watkins Glen International and with the BRP Asphalt Modified Tour. We at Pit Stop TV thank you for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. The channel does, of course, stay active weekly. It's not just racing on Wednesdays or Mondays, even if you watch these dirt races. We have racing throughout the week. Most notably, in the week coming up, we have the LTAC Cup Series in 2 nights' time, Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to be there, where they will, well, the LTAC field, I mean, that is getting more and more competitive by the week. They'll be taking their NASCAR Cup Series cars to Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. Should be a lot of fun watching them take to the 2-mile D-shaped oval in Southern California. Then Sunday night, you can catch Cross Series League Racing take Global Mazda MX-5s to Lime Rock Park up in Connecticut. Should be a lot of fun. They are continuing on their road course portion of their very diverse 4-section schedule where they ran oval races, they ran dirt oval races, dirt road races, and now pavement road races. A fantastic concept as well. Monday night, we'll wrap back around into our new race week. We'll bring you the BRP iRacing Series Pro Dirt Late Models from Knoxville Raceway, just ahead of the Pacific Challenge Cup Series at Oran Park Raceway with the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup cars. Tuesday night next week at 6:40 p.m. Eastern, we will have the Nordic iRacing Series returning with tonight's race winner, Aaron Smith, behind the wheel as well at Dover International Speedway. That monster, literally and figuratively, up there in Delaware is sure to claim not quite the lives, but the cars certainly, and the egos of the Nordic iRacing Series best. We'll see how it goes next Tuesday evening, and of course we wrap back around to next Wednesday with these Asphalt Modifieds at USA International Speedway. Again, 8 p.m. Eastern, just like always in BRP iRacing Series broadcast. Make sure to be here on Pit Stop TV, be it on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. If you don't know, you can follow us on all those platforms by going to www.facebook.com/pitstoptv, twitter.com/pitstoptv_, over on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/pit_stop_tv, and over on YouTube at www.youtube.com/pitstoptv1. /C/pitstoptv1. You can also follow us over on Instagram. We've got an Instagram channel, well, not channel, but page now, Instagram account, if you will, and that is much like our Twitch username, pit_stop_tv. Fantastic social media content over there as always. For all of Pit Stop TV, Joe Donahue by my side, virtually anyways, on the mic this evening, and Trey Shuttlesworth on our social media coverage. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Have a great night.